Good morning, Knicks Nation. Today is Thursday, the 25th day of September 2025, 9/25/25. I hope you and your family are safe and healthy today. I hope that the needs of you and your family in terms of food, shelter, clothing, as well as health are being met today. Blessings upon those that work in health, along with first responders who every day are doing their best to save lives, and those that pick up garbage to keep our places clean, and those that make deliveries for our convenience. Double blessings on the men and women out here trying to help rescue, deliver, and recover teenagers and children that are victims of child molestation, and pedophilia. People that are victims of prostitution, child prostitution, pornography, child pornography, human trafficking, and sex slavery. Double curses on all the perpetrators, the profiteers, and the perverts that create the demands that cause these industries to exist. Finally, double blessings on the homeless. More than 700,000 men, women, children, families, senior citizens, and military veterans homeless in the United States of America, and millions around the world in similar or worse conditions. Blessings upon them, for theirs is the kingdom. So yesterday, Knicks had practice, first practice of the year, first official practice. And everybody noticed that Mitchell Robinson was wearing blue. Blue is generally for the starters. Gray is for the rotation bench. And Mike Brown said after the practice, after of course it was pointed out that Mitchell Robinson had the starter jersey on, that tomorrow Mitchell Robinson is going to be wearing the bench jersey. And one thing that Mike Brown has stressed, and I don't think people are hearing, he understands it's an 82 game season. And during the course of the 82 game season, you're going to see different players play simply because of minor injuries, not major injuries, minor injuries. And usually that's every team in the NBA, and usually because of trades. Like, for example, this past season, right? If you look at the Knicks with Tibbs this past season, the starters played 940 minutes. And we was hearing that, the house and the media, and of course the lapdogs following the media was tripping because you're playing the starters too many minutes, blah 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 blah. But if you look, that was Tibbs' fifth season, I think. So you look at the previous four seasons, right? No lineup played more than 500 minutes in the previous four seasons. And in the year before this past one, where they had all those injuries, nobody played more than 230 minutes. Not only did you have a lot of injuries, but you remember you had also trades. Nobody played more than 230 minutes. No unit played more than 230 minutes. This past season, he played the unit 900 minutes. Now, that was really an anomaly when you look at the previous five seasons. So I think, as usual, people were overreacting to Tibbs, but that's neither here nor there. In Mike Brown's last full season in Sacramento before he was fired, his starters played 889 minutes. But previous to that, no starting unit played more than 660 minutes. I think we're going to see something akin to that this year, something like 700 minutes for the starting unit. What I did notice, and he mentioned this when he talked about Keon Ellis, getting minutes as a two-way player. It was a point where he took Kevin Huerter out of the starting lineup and put Keon Ellis in the starting. And it wasn't because Huerter was hurt. Huerter was supplanted by Ellis. Okay, and Huerter's a good player, but Ellis was bringing more point of attack defense. That's, you take note of that. Ellis was bringing more point of attack defense. If you recall, it was Ellis where the Knicks were playing Sacramento, and Jalen Brunson, it was at the end of the game, clutch possession. He looks as if a pick was coming, and Ellis turned his head to see who was bringing the pick, and Jalen Brunson beat him the other way. That was Keon Ellis. Now, he is a rookie, young dude, but he was at that time. But that he was point of attack defense, okay? Also, though, during the course of the season, that particular year, it wasn't that year. I tried to find Mike Brown's best year, which was the 66-win Cleveland team in 08-09. During that year, his most played five-man rotation I don't. Let me see. I'm gonna tell you, it wasn't even. You see, he played was 485 minutes, and then the next one was 475 minutes. And the reason was he replaced Ilgauskas with Varejo in the lineup. So he really does not ride his starters a lot. And during that same year, and that's the same pattern he has, except for that 1 year where he played his guys 889 minutes. He really does limit the minutes of his starters. So you're not going to have to see anybody playing 40 minutes on a regular basis. But he does, in all cases, he'll pick 3 or 4 guys that are always starting. The guy is that 5th guy that's interchangeable. And similar to what we got right now in New York. So Towns, Brunson, OG, McCall, they're starting. It's that 5th guy that's going to have to be changed between either effectiveness in the lineup, matchups, injuries. You're going to have that 5th guy change a lot. In his Cleveland stint, where he won 66 games that year, he had, as far as starters, he had 7 different players start at least 10 games. But LeBron, Mo Williams, Ilgauskas, Delonte West, and Ben Wallace started the most games, with LeBron, Mo Williams, Ilgauskas, and Delonte West being the regular starters. Ben Wallace came in for some. Anderson Varejo started 42 games, so he was switching them up a little bit. But he basically sticks with a core of 3 or 4, and then them other 1 or 2 switch out. And he had totally like 11 different guys started that year for him. 11 different guys, okay? So that 5th guy, and then you have injuries, minor injuries, usually like ankle sprains, wrist sprains, that have a guy sit. So I'm saying all that to say, number one, you're going to see probably 3 different guys with blue on running practice. Mitchell Robinson, Deuce McBride, and Josh Hart. You might even see another one. Now, what I noticed, I feel like was more significant from the film of the practice yesterday, was how many guys wore gray. See, gray is your rotation of your second unit. Yesterday, it was Deuce, Yabusele, Hart, and it was Deuce, Yabusele, Hart. I'm missing one guy. There were 4 guys that had the gray on. Deuce, Yabusele, Hart. Who was the other guy? But Shamet, no. Brogdon, no. Nobody else was wearing gray. Everybody was wearing other color shirts. Nobody else was wearing gray, but the 4 guys. It was, I'll tell you who they was. I'll tell you who they was. The 4 guys are wearing gray, that's it. Yabusele, Hart, Deuce. Jordan Clarkson. Yeah. Jordan Clarkson, Deuce, Hart, and Yabusele was wearing gray. To me, that indicates who he's looking at as his regular second unit rotation. If everybody's looking at the starters, I wanted to know who was wearing gray. Now, it's going to be interesting to see when, so for example, Josh Hart wears blue. Who's going to be wearing gray? When Deuce McBride wears blue, who's going to be wearing gray? That's what I want to see. So at some point in the season, all 3 of those guys are going to start some games. Hart's going to start some games. Deuce is going to start some games. And of course, you're going to have Mitchell Robinson starting some games. Even Yabusele is going to start some games, but not because of anything but injury. That's it. Yabusele is not going to start games because he's more effective than Karl-Anthony Towns at the 4. No, or OG Anunoby for that matter. But if somebody like OG sprains an ankle or Karl-Anthony Towns sprains a knee, you might see Yabusele start in those scenarios. But you're going to have several guys, and this is the thing. In most of his winning seasons, and I started to focus on the winning seasons for Mike Brown, but he will play up to 11 guys, 10 minutes or more. Okay? And this is the type of team that he has now, where you might see that. You're going to see the starters. You're going to have your second unit guys. They're going to all play 15, 20 minutes. And then you're going to have a couple of guys that's going to win minutes. And they're going to win the opportunity because somebody's hurt. Okay, and for his Cleveland team, he had 11 different dudes play at least 11 minutes. He had 9 different guys play at least 20 minutes. Okay, and he had 8 guys playing at least showing up in at least 56 games and playing 20 minutes. See, so he ain't joking when he say he wants to play people as much as he can. And this is going to be good for guys like Karl Anthony Towns, for guys like Mikal Bridges, for guys like OG, for guys like Mitchell Robinson. It's going to be good that they're not going to have to log heavy minutes. And that means they're going to be fresh. There are some guys like Josh Hart. I think Josh Hart actually plays better the more minutes you give him. And so I don't know what he's going to do with Josh Hart. The finger is going to limit his shooting, but I think people are overblowing this in my view. Josh Hart's game is not shooting, never has been. Josh Hart's game is hustle, rebounding, and defense. That's his game, okay? The finger ain't going to stop him from doing that. Josh Hart's game is being physical and diving on the floor. The finger ain't going to stop. Where he going to wrap that mess up like this, you're going to have 2 fingers together, and he going to go out there and, bust his butt like he always does. So he has never been a shooter. In Mike Brown's offense, Josh Hart would have a bit of an issue because he's not a shooter. Teams will let Josh Hart shoot. We saw that a lot over the last 2 seasons. They leave Josh Hart open. And if he was knocking down threes, the Knicks had a better chance to win the game, obviously. But they're going to let him shoot because he's not as dangerous as the other guys that are out there. So I don't know what they would do with him, but he's going to do what he does. He's going to bring the energy. And like I said, Josh Hart's production is the same to me. I've noticed whether he's starting or on the bench, it don't change his production. Really, his production is a matter of minutes. The more minutes he's getting, the more productive he's going to be. Okay, the more minutes he's getting, the more productive he's going to be. That's Josh Hart. So Josh, like last year, let me see here. If you look at Josh Hart's minutes, I'm sure they were high. Yeah, of course, 38 minutes a game. Okay, 38 minutes a game. He started 77 games, played 38, the most on the team. Bridges was second, 37. Anunoby, 36.6, was basically 37. Brunson, 35. Cat, 35. Deuce, 25. Okay, so that's what makes Hart more productive. And he could get those minutes coming off the bench or starting. Okay, now I don't think you're going to see, I don't know if you're going to get anybody with 38 minutes a game this year. I'll be surprised. With the team we have, I think the most you will see a guy play is 33. And that's going to be good, including Josh Hart. So Josh Hart might be a little limited, maybe, but I'm not as worried about him. To me, the availability is the best ability, and he's going to be available, and he's going to bring his whole heart game every night. And to me, that's more important than any other thing with his finger. But the Knicks are going to be using the 5th starter is going to change. Might have Mitch Robinson one night, Deuce McBride, Josh Hart. Might be another dude. Okay, might be another dude, depending. And I'm talking when they're healthy. I'm not talking about, like I said, when you got ankles or sprained joints or whatever. But when they're all healthy, you might see any one of those 3 start. And what Mike Brown does, which is what most coaches do, he gets a combination in there and they're rolling. This is what he did with Keon Ellis. Herter and them were doing all right in Sacramento. But when Ellis came in, it went to a new level because the defense went to a new level, and he kept Ellis in there. Okay, if he finds a lineup that's rolling and don't get tripped out like a lot of content people will get you tripped out. Don't react to short-term stupidness, whether it's good or bad. It's short-term. But if he gets 5 games where they're rolling, or 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games, and he got a unit that's rolling, he's going to stick with that unit, okay? Whatever it is. Most coaches would do that. He's going to stick with that unit, especially in this scenario where you're talking about you got 4 definite starters and the 5th guy. So if the 5th guy works with the 4, whoever that guy works with to get the best outcomes, that's going to be your permanent starter. And they're all going to get a chance to show it. See? So I'm not going to be married to Mitchell Robinson or Deuce or Hart, any of them. I'm not married to them in terms of they must start. Shoot, you might get Shamet starting because Shamet's going to be available. I'm not even going to tell you about Brogdon because if you put your hopes on Brogdon, you're a fool because he's going to get hurt. But Shamet, he's more available. I wouldn't be surprised if he got a chance to start because he could shoot and he's a lockdown defender. So, we'll see, is what I'm saying. We'll see. It's going to be very interesting. I think you're going to get one of the two-way guys or more. You're going to see them get a little minutes. I'm not saying they're going to get rotation minutes. Let's not get carried away. But you're going to see them get some minutes. McCullough might get some minutes. Tosan, I forgot his name. He might get some minutes, right? And, of course, I really believe Jameson going to get some minutes. So you're going to see that over the course of the season just because it's an 82-game grind. So everybody's going to get a chance to show their stuff. Really, though, it's who makes the team. Okay? Because if you make the team, you're going to get a chance to perform. You're going to get a chance to show what you got. Okay? But if you don't make a team, it don't matter, right? So we'll see. But, yeah, it was Jordan Clarkson, Deuce, Hart, and Yabusele with a gray yesterday. Okay? Nobody else is wearing anything, whatever. And then the Blues was the starting five with Mitchell Robinson. Okay? So we're going to see what happens today. I think you're going to see different combinations because all of those guys, Mitch Rob, Deuce, Hart, they have to be comfortable both coming off the bench and starting. All of them. Okay? So if any one of them is not your immediate starter, they have to be in a position where they're prepared to be. If somebody's hurt or if he wants to make a change, you got to be ready to start. You can't, they don't afford like 5 games to get used to it. You got to get in there and play, okay? So, like Tibbs you say, you got to get in there and get the job done from opening minute if you start. So, that's why he's going to have different guys wear that 5th blue in practice. He has to, because he's looking for, and that's why he said he's not settled on anything. But I believe him. I don't think he's just blowing smoke because he's trying to find the best combination. Again, he's going to have 4 of those guys starting. Who fits best? Who's the 5th guy that brings that unit the best results? That's what you got to find out. Now, you can have, if somebody's like, I have to disagree with you. Disagree about what? Because I said Deuce I think he's the best starter. No, I think it's Mitch Rob. Well, it doesn't matter. Both of them going to start at different times. Okay? It's irrelevant. But what we're going to find out, what's going to be shown on the court, is what 5 is performing at the highest level. That's who's going to be your starters. And what I like too is that you're not going to see no 5 run for no 800 minutes. You're going to see probably 600, maybe if they're really good, 700. But then you're going to have others combinations. He's going to be running that bench unit a lot. That's why I wanted to see who was in gray, because that's who he trusts on his bench. And it was who we thought. We've been saying this the whole summer. Yabusele, Deuce, Hart, and Jordan Clarkson. I was wondering if who Porter gonna get some light there, but I don't know. But for sure, them 4 are gonna be running his second unit, and we're gonna see who's interchangeable. Of those, who's interchangeable with the first unit? Hart, Deuce, Mitch. We'll see. Okay, it's gonna happen. But I'm excited. I like how he's doing this business right now. His past track record makes me a little nervous, honestly, because it's been up and down, but he has had no roster like this roster. And he's also an experienced, right now he's like 50 years old. He's an experienced NBA coach. This ain't no dude that just started yesterday. See, that's why a lot of people, every time the Knicks need a head coach, there's always a bunch of knuckleheads calling for some rookie that's never coached in the NBA before. I don't care what kind of college record they had. I don't care if they're the first woman. I don't care. I need somebody in New York that knows what the hell they're doing and has a track record. Tibbs had that, and Brown got that. See, you can't come to New York as no damn rookie thinking you know what you're doing. That was a bad move bringing in David Fizdale. That was a bad move, okay? But Hornacek at least coached in Phoenix before he came to New York and had some success there. It's just that he was kissing Phil Jackson behind too hard and running triangle in his mind instead of running his game. But that ain't the case here. The Knicks have learned. Mr. Dolan has learned. that Don already knows, and so they got the game together. The tighter you have between the management, the coach, and the players, the tighter that connection in terms of everybody being on the same page, the better. Having Jalen Brunson as your leader is huge. because he is a true leader. He's gonna be in connection with what the coach wants. He's already in connection with what the Don want. They've been connected. That's why he came here. And then Jalen Brunson's gonna tell the players what needs to be, just like he did on the bench last year when he told Anthony Towns to shut up because he needed to. He's the leader. When you got a guy that's accountable like that, you're in good shape in terms of connection between management, coach, and players. You got that. You got a coach on the floor. This is very good. And he's not the only one. I mean, McCall's like that, OG's like that, Deuce's like that. There are guys like that. There's a connection there. The more, the better. And the Knicks got it. So I'm excited to see this. Let's see what happens in practice today. Let's see who wears blue and who wears gray. You all enjoy your Thursday. So